Sir,
Sir, your presentation tak ada.
sir,
Hey, okay, letih. Tadi dah okey, sekarang dia tak okey. Okay. All right. Okay. And then third, we can also test you whether you can understand independently specific information and details. So basically, it's more of specific detail. I've seen all the question. Most of the time, it will be on specific information or detail. Uh, and number four, possibility whether you can recognize independent the attitude or opinion of the speaker, but we haven't seen that. But it doesn't mean it cannot come out. It can. Okay. So basically, the testing focus for listening part one is almost the same like the reading component, whereby you identify detail, main idea, author's purpose, author's attitude, and meaning of words. But I haven't seen meaning of words yet. But it doesn't mean it cannot come out. Okay. Now, since it's quite difficult for me to play the audio and then show you the question, I'll use the what you call that tape script as part of the audio lah. And then I'll play the audio to let you have a taste of the type of speaker we have for the paper, for the audio. Okay, now before you listen to the audio, you will be given time to read the question, and please read the question and then understand what type of information that you are going to look for. And for example, number one here it says the girl likes movies which A, B, C. So when you get this type of question, actually they are testing you whether you know which the girl highest degree of like. So there are many ways for you us to talk about like, but there are varying degree of like. So if you read the tape script, you understand what I'm trying to say here. Okay, the instruction will be clear for you. They will say you hear a girl talking about watching movies, and then the audio will start. For example, I usually enjoy, see, usually enjoy means like watching my favorite movies and cartoons on weekend. But is that the highest degree of like? Action movies are good, but I'm not that keen if there's too much violence. She like action movies, but if there violence, she doesn't like. I wouldn't waste any time on horror movies. That her list like horror movies. Idea. I'll have trouble sleeping after watching them. I guess I enjoy watching fantasy the most. So here is the cue for us to understand, okay, this is where the answer will come from, because we hear the phrase I enjoy the most. Okay, we are back. So here, like I said, for part one, as you listen, you must uh, identify the keyword to tell you where the answer is. So the answer comes right after the phrase the most. So it says here, where there's magical kingdom and dragons. So now we know this is where the answer lies. Okay, then we look at the option A, B, and C. Which option refers to where there's magical kingdom and dragons? So you see that we still do a lot of paraphrasing, we still do a lot of word substitution, just like we do on reading. So there's no way that we can spot words, listen for word spotting. And so here the answer is C, because C suggests that, you know, when you watch movies with magical kingdom and dragons, you have to use your imagination. And as you listen for the last line, as for romance, well, I don't really enjoy that. So here, the question is testing you the various degree of like. Eh? Okay, next. Okay. Second question. When did the man realize he could turn his hobby into his job? So in this question, there are three main keywords. First, the word realize, and then hobby, and then job. Okay. Eh? When did the man realize he could turn his hobby into job? So, okay, so maybe four. Four. When, realize, hobby, and job. So you have to listen very carefully, and before you listen, look at the option so that you know your listening will be more focused. When he was in Africa, when traveling all over the world, when magazines started publishing his work. So as you listen, like I said again, you must identify the keyword where the answer lies, either before the keyword or after the keyword. Yeah? All right. Next, you hear a man talking about his occupation. I always dreamed of sailing the seven seas when I was small. In my 20s, I saved enough money working as a salesman to travel to Africa. While I was there, okay, so this is the cue. While I was there, where is there? I took lots of great pictures. Took lots of great pictures, refer to hobby. And that's what made me think of a career is job in photography. What made me think? So that means that's the word realize. So this question is quite high level for weak student, but for you, I think it's okay. Since then, I've done lots of exhibition and travel magazine have used my pictures to write about holidays and hotel. So when you could identify that the phrase that you need as the cue is the phrase while I was there, then you know that while I was there refer to Africa. So the answer is A, when he was in Africa. So my only worry is, question in the market, do they do this? Do they have this type of question whereby you need to identify the keyword and then you either look for the answer before the keyword or after the keyword. Okay. Next question, question 3. If you read the question, you see this is similar to number 1. Number 1, the various degree of like. Here, the varying degree of love. The student loves sports because, okay, so basically, I think you will listen to a monologue saying that she loves sports, but of varying degree. So, is it A, she enjoys competing? B, it teaches her to use her time well. C, it suits her sociable personality. So then you read the script, you get the idea what I'm trying to say here. I love sports. Okay, I love sports. It does take a lot of my time, but it has its benefit. I compete in a lot of sports event, and I love meeting new people. Is it because of that meeting new people? When teenagers add sports to their schedule, they are adding a commitment. Since sports have a wide range of benefits, it can be an excellent learning tool for teens, especially in the areas of time management. For me, uh, okay, for me, so this is referring to another maybe another cue, but it's not the main cue. Sports can be such fun event because I can meet new people. What we learn as students and athletes can be used later in our lives. I do sports mainly. So the word mainly here refer to the highest degree of love for building friendship. Uh, I do sports mainly for building friendship. The word mainly is the main cue for you to get the answer. So which of the option A, B, C suggests for building friendship? So the answer is C. It suits her sociable personality. For weaker student, this is quite high, but I think you can do this. All right. Now let's look at question 4. Read the question. It says, what does the science teacher say is the most important? That means all the three options, they are important. But which is the most important? So you have to listen very carefully. The keyword to show that's the most important. Eh? So uh, we read the tape script. It says, okay, listen, class. I know you have heard this many times, but I still need to remind you about a few important matters. Be cautious when in the laboratory. Always read the labels carefully when using the chemicals. Inform your teacher immediately if you spill any chemicals. Always wash your hands when you leave the laboratory. And above all, see, that is the cue for you to get your answer because it suggests the most important. You must follow instruction given at all times. Okay, so we know that's the most important. You must follow instruction given at all time. So is it A, is it B, or C? So we know the answer should be B. Listen carefully to all instruction. So you see that LP is doing some what you call that paraphrasing or word substitution, so that you not be able to get the answer by spotting or listening for certain words only. Okay. Now, question 5. This was quite difficult for most people because it's quite tricky. They are only testing the what you call that the word today, but you know some people get distracted by the other things because here the question says according to the newspaper, people should. That means this should be a true statement. Without a shadow of a doubt, this must be a true statement. So is it stay indoors right now, expect bad weather at the weekend, make the most of the weather tomorrow? Okay. Now we are not sure when this is spoken. That's why, if you listen carefully, B and C is not the answer. Let's see whether we are right or not. Okay. Although we are experiencing some rain today, that means today we do not care when it is. It's still today. Sunday is expected to be bright and sunny day. Eh? So when it's Sunday, we're not so sure. So if this is spoken on a Wednesday, Sunday is a few days away. A great way to end the weekend is by bringing the whole family for a picnic on the beach or a stroll in the park. Don't forget your sunscreen. So if you go out in the sun, the following week, when is it? We are not so sure also. However, it's expected to be very wet week. Don't forget your umbrella. So if you're not very careful, you will be tricked into thinking about you know next weekend, tomorrow. Uh, so we are not so sure when tomorrow is. When is today? Is today Saturday? We are not so sure. The right answer is A. Yeah. Okay. Now, question 6. What does the woman say about the restaurant? So that means this question want a true statement. What does the woman say about the restaurant? So we want to find the true statement about the restaurant according to the woman. Is it A, the lights were too weak, B, the layout was suitable, C, the waiters were disappointing? Okay, so this is slightly more difficult than the first 5 because the first 5 the cue are quite clear. You look for adverbs. Adverbs mainly usually the word today, but this one is more of slightly difficult because it tests the main idea. It tests the main idea of what the audio is all about. Okay, let me tell you about the restaurant. The lighting was just right. It wasn't too bright. It wasn't too bright. Another good thing was that the tables had a good amount of space between them. Can I say the stuff? Can I say the stuff? Not your. Can I say the stuff? Ooh, is polite? No, maybe something is wrong. I'll have to check. They made me comfortable and at ease. Also, there's some There's music playing in the restaurant. It wasn't too loud, but I prefer not to have any music. Okay. So A, the lights were too weak. So it's not right. It's not the right answer because she said the lighting was just right. B, the layout was suitable. So she's saying the tables had a good amount of space between them. So that's correct. But you must look at C also. The waiters were disappointing. Uh, no, because they made the person comfortable and at ease. So the right answer is B. Okay. And then look at the last question, number 7. What was not a challenge for Ali? So this is a dialogue, a short dialogue. All the rest, the first 6, they were monologue. So now this is a dialogue. So it's true what the format says. It can be a monologue or a dialogue. All right. So what was not a challenge for Ali? The route, reaching the top, changing the weather. So you have to listen very carefully because this is quite tricky because not a challenge, a negative. Okay. Congratulations, Ali, for reaching the top of Mount Everest. Thanks, but it was not easy. Ali, can you tell us the most challenging aspect of climbing the mountain? Okay. Ali said, well, the route up Mount Everest is not difficult, but mountain sickness can affect your climb. As for me, it was the weather as it kept on changing. So actually, we are only testing, not a challenge. And in the dialogue, in dialogue, it comes from the phrase "not difficult." So the answer is A. The route up Mount Everest is not difficult. Okay. So I hope you can do part one correct, and I hope you score all 7 correct. It's not supposed to be too difficult. Uh, Part two is slightly challenging because it's just like reading part three, whereby in reading you have to read a long uh, text, but for part two you'll be listening to a longer narrative or an informational monologue, and the length of the monologue will be about 400 words. So they say it can be more than that. It can be more than that, and there are 8 items, and you will have multiple choice for all the answers. Okay. Okay. If you look at the testing focus, you be you know at loss. But don't worry about the testing focus. Basically, just like reading, you are going to be able to identify the main idea, special information, attitude of the writer, opinion of the writer, uh, and also try to understand meaning of unfamiliar words with the clues provided from the monologue. Okay. Now, let's look at the first two. The first two, uh, what you call that, the first two question. The question is just like reading. Number 9 will be early in the monologue. Number 10 will come after that. 11 will come after that. 12 and so on. Just like reading, that's the order of the question for part 2 listening. Okay. So again, before you listen, you read the question first, and then you listen twice. What is the most important aspect of skateboarding? Okay, I think you know already. Here you have to listen for the cue that suggests most important. Eh? Because all 3 options will be from the audio. Bending your knees, balancing your body, moving your weight around. Eh? Most likely they will be quite similar worded, but which one is the most important, and which one is the most important? So when you listen to the audio, you see that even the first sentence can be the answer. Balancing is everything when you ride a skateboard. So here it suggests is the most important aspect. It's most important aspect. You have to learn how to bend your knees properly and move your weight around the deck. So all three are important, but balancing is everything, the most important. So that's why the answer for number 9 is A. Eh? Is A. Okay. What is the answer for number 10? So you try first. What do you think is the answer for number 10? I haven't given you the answer. So, what is the answer for number 10? You can read the audio, the tape script. You read the tape script. So what do you think is the answer for number 10? Eh? Uh, the question say, when did Roy decide to be a skateboarder? So, like what I said earlier, you have to listen to the cue that suggests where the answer will come from. Eh? Is it after the keyword or phrase or up before that? Eh? So when we read this, we see that uh, I've highlighted the cue phrase, but then which one is the answer? I remember the first time I saw a pro skateboarder. He came to our new skate park and put on a demo. Eh? When I saw him zoom up and down the ramp, I knew I wanted to do that too. Uh, that means that's when he decided to be a skateboarder. Is it A? Is it B? Is it C? Is it A, seeing the happiness on the skateboarder's face? Is it B, after meeting a pro skateboarder for the first time? Or C, watching a skateboarder showing some of his skills? So, what do you think is the answer? I watched as he got ready to do a trick, and when it worked, I could see the pleasure spread across his face. We all cheered, including the parents and little kids, but I think I cheered the loudest. So you are right, Fatul Amar. The answer is C. How do we know? When I saw him zoom up and down the ramp, suggests that he saw the skateboarder showing some of his skills. Fantastic. Bagus. Okay. Now, next two, 10 and 11. What's the answer? What's the answer? I've highlighted the Q, but I want to see whether you can get the answer. Number 10. Why is Roy fond of the t-shirt he got? So, it's based on the word fond. So, like I said, CFR, if you don't have uh, the necessary vocabulary, you will not be able to answer this. And but rest assured, most of the words that they use is below C1. It's B2 and below. The word font is B2. Hold on a second. Okay. Okay. And then number 11. Why does Roy prefer skateboarding to team sports? So you have to listen to the cue phrase that suggests this is why he prefer the team sports. Uh, so what is the answer for number 10 and what's the answer for number 11? Number 10, is it A, B or C? It has the skater's name on it. It didn't cost him anything. It bring him success. So who can give me the one? Number 10 is C. Very good. Okay, number 11, is it 11? Why does Roy prefer skateboarding to team sports? Okay, it says here, you do it all by yourself. If you crash, it's because you do something wrong. If you make a great word, it's because you try hard and you do your best. So, yes, the answer is A for 11. He feels completely responsible for his own success or failure. Uh, this is quite a good monologue. It's a lot that you can learn from this. That's what lembaga wants. They want the text or the monologue to be quite inspirational and motivational to candidates. Okay, now let's look at number 12 and 13. Uh, I've highlighted what is being tested. Which skateboard does Roy use the most? Okay, so the answer will be taken from the audio. All the three skateboard, Malibu board, double kick, cruiser. But you have to listen very carefully to for the keyword to show that he used the skateboard the most uh, comparatively among the three. Okay. Okay, and then number 13, Roy loves the skateboard that travels quickly as or the word because. So why does he prefer the skateboard that travels quickly? What was his reason? Uh, eh? Quick means fast. Okay. And then, all right. So Fatul Amar says number 12 is B. Okay. And 13, the answer is C. You are correct on both count. Okay. Now I use my double kick skateboard more often. Uh, more often. So, you know, that's the highest degree in that in this particular audio. So you are right. So the answer is double kick. And then number 13, why why does Roy love the skateboard that travels quickly? It's because when I go really fast, just quick, the excitement makes my heart beat faster. When your heart beat faster, it means it gives him a thrilling sensation. Fantastic. Bagus sangat. Okay. Alright. Next, 14 and 15. Uh, it's like actually the whole uh, text, this particular text script is about 472 words in a second. Even though they say it's about 400 words, but it can go beyond that. It can go beyond that because if it's too short, then the builder has limited space to work to come up with question. Okay, number 14. Why does Roy prefer skating on a plywood ramp? Prefer. So you must see the comparison. Okay, so why does he prefer skating on a plywood ramp? A, it looks good. It is smooth. It is safer. It's quite easy, this one. Use your logic. Eh? Number 15. Roy tries doing new tricks with his skateboard because, okay, even though we are using our knowledge, but you must confirm with the audio. If it's not in the audio, it doesn't conform with the your background knowledge. That's only uh, one way of helping you to listen to certain things. So why do you do new tricks? What are some other reasons? Maybe A, B, C. There are two or three reasons, but you have to see what Roy said about his reason, his main reason. Okay, what is number 14? Uh, okay, Fatur say number 14 is C. Okay, it comes from I have more control over the plywood ramp. When you have more control, that means you it's safer. Correct. It suggests it is safer. When you have more control of something, that suggests it is safer. Number 15. Okay, when I land flat and keep going, I can still feel the thrill. Uh, that's why I kept trying new tricks. It's a sense of achievement even though it takes a lot of work. Okay. All right. So the answer is A. He likes doing new tricks because he likes the excitement. Not because he can fly in the air, not because he's good at it. It's the excitement. It's the excitement. Fantastic. Okay. Next. Okay, that's the end of the reading comprehension. Eh? Where you listen to a long monologue. Okay. Now part 3. Part 3 is matching. So what matching is not supposed to be that difficult. If you understand the reading paper, part 5, where you have the matching exercise, this is almost the same. The way to deal with part 3 listening is the same way you deal with reading part 5. Okay. So you will be listening to 5 short monologue, a text of approximately 50 words with 7 options given. Now, why do we have 7 options when we only have 5 monologue? Uh, so that you have 2 distractors. That means it's challenging. The British Cambridge paper, normally they have only one distractor, less challenging compared to Malaysian paper. We have two distractors all the time. You remember our reading paper, the gap text, we have two. So that means it's more challenging. Malaysia boleh kan? Malaysia boleh. Okay. Now, testing focus, forget about it. It's almost the same. Okay, now let's look at uh, part 3. Now, to do this, you don't worry about the speaker first. You read the question, you understand all the 7 statement. Okay. It says here, for question 16 to 20, choose from the list A to G what each speaker says. That means you put either A, B, C, D, E, F, G for number 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Use the letter only once. Why do we remind students that? Because weaker students sometimes they use those letters twice. Pity them. There are 2 extra letters which you don't need to use. Okay. So before you listen to the recording twice, read the 7 option and understand them. Okay, A. Always look for the best bargain. What does it mean, best bargain? Best bargain doesn't mean the best price. Best bargain, maybe you pay a certain amount of money, you get more than what you deserve. So that's the best bargain. Buy online as it's cheaper. That's quite clear. Who says that? If there's any. Don't let others make your mind up for you. What does it mean? Don't let others make your mind up for you. Who can make up your mind for you? Is it your friend? Is it the salesperson or the owner? So that means you should understand that. D. Ask yourself if an item is really necessary. This is the normal need and want. Do you really need it or do you want it? Need versus want. Okay. Be careful not to buy on impulse. Okay. Be careful not to buy on impulse. This is the only word which is above word level. This is C1 if I'm not mistaken. By right, they should change this. But this is only for the penataran, just an example. But for the real exam, there shouldn't be a C1 word or C2 word unless the better thing that you know our students can handle the word. Okay, and then for F, get the best deal from the salesperson. Get the best deal from the salesperson. If you get the best deal from the salesperson, that means you're going to do some haggling. You have to persuade the person to bring down the price and so on. And the last one, don't fall for marketing tricks. Okay, don't fall for marketing tricks. Meaning, don't be persuaded just because they look nice, they promise you a lot of things. Okay, so uh, who is speaker one? Who is speaker two? Is speaker one A, B, C, D, E, F, or G? So as you read the tape script, I think you can get who is speaker one and who is speaker two. Eh? Speaker one says, before I buy um, something, I look at the advantages and disadvantages of buying it. I ask myself why I need it, where I'll put it, and what it's for. If I can't give definite answers to this question, I may want it, but will probably decide I don't need it. So this is the cliche want and need. So most likely, speaker one is D. Okay, speaker one is D. What about speaker two? At supermarkets, there are always people trying to sell you things. I normally compare prices of different brands to get the best deal. Sometimes I use vouchers that I find on the internet or in newspaper. I like to go online to know who is offering the lowest price. So speaker two is A. All right, you are right. Speaker two is A. Now, what about speaker three, speaker four, and speaker five? So once you have used A and D, forget about them. You have a less option to choose from. Five for the next three blanks. Okay. At the supermarket, I only buy what I plan to get. This means that I won't be tempted to add some ice cream, even if it looks really good. It doesn't matter how good it looks. If you haven't planned to buy it, don't put it in your basket. Uh, which one? Eh? Speaker 4. Most of the time, especially when there is a sale, it's easy to buy things just because they are on sale. We find ourselves attracted to this discount and end up buying things we don't really need. Okay, speaker 5 says, when I'm thinking about buying something and I'm in the shop trying to consider my option, I always avoid the sales assistant. Their job is to persuade you to buy the product. We as smart shoppers must try not to let other people stop you from making your own choices. Now, this is quite tricky. We have taken out A and D, but speaker 5 is really very clear cut. Eh? We as smart shoppers must not try to let other people stop us from making our choices. Then that means speaker 5, the answer is C. Don't let others make your mind up. Okay, and then now we have A, C, and D out of the way. We have B, E, F, G. We have B, E, F, G. Okay, which is which? Is speaker 3E? Eh? I won't be tempted. And is speaker 4G? And we find ourselves end up buying things. Okay, so I think you are right. Speaker 3 is E. Be careful not to buy on impulse. Impulse means if you don't plan it, suddenly you feel like buying, you buy. And then speaker 4 say where there's a sale, it's easy to buy things because they're on sale. That means you are attracted and you fall to the marketing tricks, discount, 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 buy one free one, buy three free apa, buy two free three. Those are marketing tricks. So you are right. But remember, it doesn't mean you must follow the sequence of the question. Answer one which you think is the best answer straight away, that you are confident that should be it. And just like what I did for speaker 5, I'm sure speaker 5 is C. And don't let others make up your mind for you. And then I have four more option to choose for the two, as for speaker 3 and speaker 4. Okay. Okay, so you are right, D A E G C. Fantastic. All right, now the last part of the listening test, the note completion. Okay, there will be 10 items. So you listen to a neutral or informal dialogue. Normally it's an interview. So when it's an interview, what lembaga normally will do is that they'll find a female and a male. So that is quite clear who's speaking. If we have two female, then we might be confused. Which female? If two males also, we might be confused. So it's better that we have one male, one female for the interview. And it says the interview will be around 650. But for this one, it's about 700 over words. Okay, don't worry about it. It's just a number. But you know what is important that you know how to answer this question. Okay, it says candidates will complete gap summary text with one word per gap. One word per gap. Okay. Testing focus on the same. Forget about it. Now, it's not that difficult. Actually, it's not that difficult. The way you answer part 4 of the listening text is similar to when you do part 5 of the reading. Remember the last 4 questions whereby you know you can more or less guess what word will fit in there, or just like when you did part 2 of the reading, you can know that's the only word that fit in the blank. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Now, when you look at the question, it says use no more than one word, and the word must come from the audio. You cannot add in your own word. It must be spelled correctly. If you listen to it, you don't hear any S, don't put S. If there's S, make sure it's S, and so on. Okay, this is quite simple actually. Read the question. When Azlan applied for the exchange program, he was worried about his blank being too small. So, uh, if you know grammar, you know that the blank word is a noun. His what being too small, and it's talking about him going overseas. What do you worry about being too small? Is it your body, your luggage, or your budget? That's why when you listen to this interview, the second exchange, the interviewer say, "So did you apply straight away?" And then this boy said, Azlan said, "I think my biggest concern is your worry was that I had a limited means too small budget, but I didn't let that stop me. So the word budget fit in there. But our main concern as teachers is your spelling. Are you going to spell the English spelling, or are you going to spell like the Malay Bajet? That is our worry. And this part of the paper will be marked by human. The first three will be marked by a computer. The least part will be marked by human. It's the same like the reading paper. The first four part will be marked by a computer, but the last part of the reading paper will be marked by human, and the writing component will be marked by human. So come this March, the examiners will mark part 5 of of the reading paper, all the writing component, and also part 4 of the listening paper. Okay. And then as you read all the question, you say, hey, all the blanks are noun. How do I know? When he arrived in Rome, Aslan had a chance to experience a different blank. A shows that it should be a noun phrase, but you have an adjective, a different what, something. And enjoy an evening walk around the city. Next question. Azan host family took him to a nearby blank. again, a nearby blank. That means it's also a noun. When they discovered he was interested in the local team. So if the local team is football team, where do you go? If the local team is a basketball team, where do you go? So you have to use your general knowledge a little bit uh, to more or less have a hunch what would fit in there. And then as you listen, you conform or you confirm your suspicion. That's the right word for the blank. Azlan even took a photo with the team captain at a blank. Where you never take a photo. So listen very carefully. Eh? Uh, so the second blank, the number 22, comes from here. I noticed that the Italians do things differently. What things? Eh? Azlan had a chance to explain. Azlan, when he arrived in Rome, Azlan had a chance to explain a different what. Uh, what is different? The word comes after that. Okay. And then for number 23, Azlan Huswani took him to a nearby blank when he was interested in the local team. The local team. So if you are interested, that means you are a die-hard fan. Eh? Of the famous football club. So where do you go to see a football team? So you can already guess the answer. Eh? Okay. So number 22, what's the answer? What's the answer for number 22? What's the answer for number 23? Use your general knowledge. Okay. 22, the answer is experience a different culture and enjoy an evening walk around the city. 23, where would the host family take him? Yes, stadium. Okay, stadium. Okay, now for number 24. Okay, well, we managed to get the team, watch the team train, and later I got a really great photo of me with the team captain because my host father knew the players would hang out at a nearby restaurant after training. So we tried our luck and could believe it when I saw the team walking in. They were happy for me to take a few shots with them. Okay, take a few shots, I mean take a photo. Where were they? At which place? I don't know what you them at a what? Uh, it's there. It's there. Yes, restaurant. Restaurant. Okay. Now, 25 and 26 comes from these two. So you see the way they organize the question. Actually, all the question is a summary taken from the interview, and they are put together and in the correct order. In the correct order. So as you listen, then it will be 25. You listen, it will be 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So even, before listening, you can guess already. All right. For example, number 25. The school organized a trip to Milan where he ate some delicious pizza and went sightseeing in the blank. Where do you go sightseeing? Okay, you can guess. Okay, maybe in the town area, village, countryside. Azlan was annoyed because he couldn't use his what when he was on a school trip in Milan. What do teenagers hate the most when they go around and they don't have it with them? Okay. In Milan, Azlan bought his mother an attractive blank made of silk. What do you buy for your mom made of silk? Must be an item of clothing. Azlan says that there is a difference between the Italian and Malaysian schools' approach to learning, but not sure which blank is better. Okay, which one, which method, which style. So you have already some idea what the word will be suitable for the blank. Aslan reconsidered his blank after being on the exchange program. Another noun. Aslan Italian host family is planning to visit Malaysia next blank because everyone is free then. Okay. Number 25, the answer is come on, come on, come on. Countryside, thank you. Number 26, annoyed because he could not use his phone. Okay. And then number 27, 28, 29, 30. Here, this one is number 27 and 28. You get the answer for 27 and 28 from this. What's the answer for number 27? Scarf. Good. Number 28. What's the word? Method. Fantastic. Okay. Number 29 and 30 comes from this exchange. These two exchanges. Okay. Is it goals? Yes. Remember, if the audio say goals, you have to put goals. Does it fit? Yes. Azan consider his goals. If you say GOAL, one goal, a goal, then most likely you get the wrong answer for that. And what is the last word? Number 30. Number 30 is quite interesting because we have 2 months, April and September. 3 months. We have September, April, and August. So if you don't listen very carefully, you might not get the right answer. But it's quite easy, because it comes from the sentence that's happening in September. They're coming in September. So my only worry for this part is number 25. Why? Because it's a compound noun. And for some people, they might say countryside, 2 words, countryside, but actually it's only 1 word, countryside. Hopefully, come September, this won't happen. And it will be tricky for the weaker student because they know they should only put 1 word and 1 word. Okay, any question? Any question before we listen to the audio, and then you see whether you like it or not. Any question? Ada soalan? Is it easy for you people? Eh? But I hope you know how to go about answering all the 4 parts of the listening paper. Eh? So good if you listen to music. Good if you listen to English shows. Don't listen to only to Malay DJs, Malay drama songs. You should listen to English songs, English short stories, and so on. If you like to listen to podcasts, it's even better. Okay, now I'm going to play you the audio sekejap Mana pula audio ni? Saya kena cari audio dulu. Ada. Tak ada masalah. Audio.
Write your answers on the question paper. You will have 6 minutes at the end of the test to copy your answers onto the answer sheet. The recording will now be stopped. Please ask any questions now because you must not speak during the test. Now open your question paper and look at part 1. You will hear people talking in 7 different situations. For questions 1 to 7, choose the correct answer A, B, or C. You will hear each recording twice. You now have 30 seconds to look at part 1. Now we are ready to start. Listen carefully. Question 1. You hear a girl talking about watching movies. I usually enjoy watching my favorite movies and cartoons on weekends. Action movies are good, but I'm not that keen if there's too much violence. I wouldn't waste any time on horror movies either. I'll have trouble sleeping after watching them. I guess I enjoy watching fantasy the most, where there's magical kingdoms and dragons. As for romance, well, I don't really enjoy that. Now listen again. I usually enjoy watching my favorite movies and cartoons on weekends. Action movies are good, but I'm not that keen if there's too much violence. I wouldn't waste any time on horror movies either. I'll have trouble sleeping after watching them. I guess I enjoy watching fantasy the most, where there's magical kingdoms and dragons. As for romance, well, I don't really enjoy that. Question 2. You hear a man talking about his occupation. I always dreamed of sailing the 7 seas when I was small. In my 20s, I saved enough money working as a salesman to travel to Africa. While I was there, I took lots of great pictures, and that's what made me think of a career in photography. Since then, I've done lots of exhibitions, and travel magazines have used my pictures to write about holidays and hotels. Now listen again. I always dreamed of sailing the 7 seas when I was small. In my 20s, I saved enough money working as a salesman to travel to Africa. While I was there, I took lots of great pictures, and that's what made me think of a career in photography. Since then, I've done lots of exhibitions, and travel magazines have used my pictures to write about holidays and hotels. Question 3. You hear a student talking about the importance of sports. I love sports. It does take a lot of my time, but it has its benefits. I compete in a lot of sports events, and I love meeting new people. When teenagers add sports to their schedule, they are adding a commitment. Since sports have a wide range of benefits, it can be an excellent learning tool for teens, especially in the areas of time management. For me, sports can be such a fun event because I can meet many new people. What we learn as students and athletes can be used later in our lives. I do sports mainly for building friendship. Now listen again. I love sports. It does take a lot of my time, but it has its benefits. I compete in a lot of all, they are adding a commitment. Since sports have a wide range of benefits, it can be an excellent learning tool for teens, especially in the areas of time management. For me, sports can be such a fun event because I can meet many new people. What we learn as students and athletes can be used later in our lives. I do sports mainly for building friendship. Question 4. You hear a science teacher giving instructions to the students.
Okay, listen class. I know you've heard this many times, but I still need to remind you about a few important matters. Be cautious when in the laboratory. Always read the label carefully when using chemicals. Inform your teacher immediately if you spill any chemicals. Always wash your hands when you leave the laboratory. And, above all, you must follow the instructions given at all times.
Now listen again.
Okay, listen class. I know you've heard this many times, but I still need to remind you about a few important matters. Be cautious when in the laboratory. Always read the label carefully when using chemicals. Inform your teacher immediately if you spill any chemicals. Always wash your hands when you leave the laboratory. And, above all, you must follow the instructions given at all times.
Question 5. You hear a newsreader talking about the weather. Although we're experiencing some rain today, Sunday is expected to be a bright and sunny day. A great way to end the weekend is by bringing the whole family for a picnic at the beach or a stroll in the park. Don't forget your sunscreen. The following week, however, is expected to be a very wet week. Don't forget your umbrellas, folks. Now listen again. Although we're experiencing some rain today, Sunday is expected to be a bright and sunny day. A great way to end the weekend is by bringing the whole family for a picnic at the beach or a stroll in the park. Don't forget your sunscreen. The following week, however, is expected to be a very wet week. Don't forget your umbrellas, folks. Question 6. You hear a woman talking about the place she went to for dinner. Let me tell you about the restaurant. The lighting was just right. It wasn't too bright. Another good thing was that the tables had a good amount of space between them. Can I say the staff were polite? They made me feel comfortable and at ease. Also, there was music playing in the restaurant. It wasn't too loud, but I prefer not to have any music. Now listen again. Let me tell you about the restaurant. The lighting was just right. It wasn't too bright. Another good thing was that the tables had a good amount of space between them. Can I say the staff were polite? They made me feel comfortable and at ease. Also, there was music playing in the restaurant. It wasn't too loud, but I prefer not to have any music. Question 7. You hear Ali sharing his experience climbing Mount Everest.
Congratulations, Ali, for reaching the top of Mount Everest. Thanks, but it was not easy. Ali, can you tell us the most challenging aspect of climbing the mountain? Well, the road up Mount Everest is not difficult, but mountain sickness can affect your climb. As for me, it was the weather as it kept on changing.
Now listen again.
Congratulations, Ali, for reaching the top of Mount Everest. Thanks, but it was not easy. Ali, can you tell us the most challenging aspect of climbing the mountain? Well, the road up Mount Everest is not difficult, but mountain sickness can affect your climb. As for me, it was the weather as it kept on changing.
That is the end of part 1. Now turn to part 2.
is everything when you ride a skateboard. You have to learn how to bend your knees properly and move your weight around the deck. I remember the first time I saw a pro skateboarder. He came to our new skate park and put on a demo. When I saw him zoom up and down the ramp, I knew I wanted to do that too. I watched as he got ready to do a trick, and when it worked out, I could see the pleasure spread across his face. We all cheered, including the parents and the little kids, but I think I cheered the loudest. When it was over, he threw things to us: caps, t-shirts, wheels, shoes, and even a skateboard with his name on it. I got a t-shirt, and I wear it nearly every day. It's my lucky shirt. I practice every spare minute. Even though I like playing tennis and football, skateboarding is different. I think you use more skills when you ride a board properly. You do it all yourself. If you crash, it's because you do something wrong. If you make a great trick work, it's because you try hard and do your best. When I first started, I used my cruiser skateboard. Now I ride my double kick skateboard more often because I'm learning to do more tricks. I also ride the Malibu board when I want to feel the wind in my face. I can get up a pretty good speed on it. When I go really fast, the excitement makes my heart beat faster. I feel great, even though I'm a bit afraid I might crash if I don't get the turn right. The council has just built a new skate park, and there are 2 ramps we can practice on. The big ramp is made of plywood, and I think it's better than concrete or steel. We all fall off sometimes, but if you fall on the concrete, it takes lots of skin off, even through your clothes. The steel one looks smooth and shiny, and that's the trouble with them. Your wheels don't grip as well on the steel ramps, and too many riders fall. I have more control over the plywood ramps. Now I spend most of my time on my trick board, which is the double kick. I did my first ollie on it. An ollie was a special trick I learned. I smash kick down on the back of my board and slide my foot forward. Then, with my arms outstretched, I'm in the air. It only lasts for a split second, but it feels like I'm flying. When I land flat and keep going, I can still feel the thrill. That's why I keep trying new tricks. It's a sense of achievement, even though it takes a lot of hard work.
Now listen again.
Balancing is everything when you ride a skateboard. You have to learn how to bend your knees properly and move your weight around the deck. I remember the first time I saw a pro skateboarder. He came to our new skate park and put on a demo. When I saw him zoom up and down the ramp, I knew I wanted to do that too. I watched as he got ready to do a trick, and when it worked out, I could see the pleasure spread across his face. We all cheered, including the parents and the little kids, but I think I cheered the loudest. When it was over, he threw things to us: caps, t-shirts, wheels, shoes, and even a skateboard with his name on it. I got a t-shirt, and I wear it nearly every day. It's my lucky shirt. I practice every spare minute. Even though I like playing tennis and football, skateboarding is different. I think you use more skills when you ride a board properly. You do it all yourself. If you crash, it's because you do something wrong. If you make a great trick work, it's because you try hard and do your best. When I first started, I used my cruiser skateboard. Now I ride my double kick skateboard more often because I'm learning to do more tricks. I also ride the Malibu board when I want to feel the wind in second, but it feels like I'm flying. When I land flat and keep going, I can still feel the thrill. That's why I keep trying new tricks. It's a sense of achievement, even though it takes a lot of hard work.
That is the end of part 2. Now turn to part 3. You will hear 5 short extracts in which teenagers are talking about shopping habits. Choose from the list A to G what each speaker says. Use the letters only once. There are 2 extra letters which you do not need to use. You now have 30 seconds to look at part 3. Speaker 1.
Before I buy something, I look at the advantages and disadvantages of buying it. I ask myself why I need it, where I'll put it, and what it's for. If I can't give definite answers to these questions, I may want it, but will probably decide I don't need it.
Speaker 2. At supermarkets, there are always people trying to sell you things. I normally compare prices of different brands to get the best deal. Sometimes, I use vouchers that I find on the internet or in newspapers. I like to go online to know who is offering the lowest price. Speaker 3.
At the supermarket, I only buy what I've planned to get. This means that I won't be tempted to add some ice cream even if it looks really good. It doesn't matter how good it looks. If you haven't planned to buy it, don't put it in your basket.
Speaker 4. Most of the time, especially when there's a sale, it's easy to buy things just because they're on sale. We find ourselves attracted to these discounts and end up buying things that we don't really need. Speaker 5. When I'm thinking about buying something and I'm in the shop trying to consider my options, I always avoid the sales assistants. Their job is to persuade you to buy the product. Be a smart shopper and try not to let other people stop you from making your own choices. Now listen again. Speaker 1.
Before I buy something, I look at the advantages and disadvantages of buying it. I ask myself why I need it, where I'll put it, and what it's for. If I can't give definite answers to these questions, I may want it, but will probably decide I don't need it.
Speaker 2. At supermarkets, there are always people trying to sell you things. I normally compare prices of different brands to get the best deal. Sometimes, I use vouchers that I find on the internet or in newspapers. I like to go online to know who is offering the lowest price. Speaker 3.
At the supermarket, I only buy what I've planned to get. This means that I won't be tempted to add some ice cream even if it looks really good. It doesn't matter how good it looks. If you haven't planned to buy it, don't put it in your basket.
Speaker 4. Most of the time, especially when there's a sale, it's easy to buy things just because they're on sale. We find ourselves attracted to these discounts and end up buying things that we don't really need. Speaker 5. When I'm thinking about buying something and I'm in the shop trying to consider my options, I always avoid
trips of my life.
How did you know about this program?
It all started when my teacher announced that there would be a student exchange program. We could choose to go either to Italy or France. In the past, I had always ignored these programs, but for some reason, this year it caught my attention.
So, did you apply straight away?
I think my biggest concern was that I had a limited budget, but I didn't let that stop me. I went ahead with the application and it was successful. My parents were a bit worried about how I would handle life away from home. Of course, I'd never traveled that far before, so I had to buy a new suitcase.
So, tell me more about your trip. What was it like when you got there?
In Rome, once we'd arrived, it was nice to be able to relax and walk around the city in the evening after the long flight. I noticed that the Italians do things differently. Their culture isn't the same as ours. They truly know how to relax and enjoy themselves.
What else did you learn about the people there?
I was impressed by how friendly and polite the people were. My host family introduced me to their friends and family members. Every gathering was a feast of food and laughter. When they discovered that I was a die-hard fan of their famous football club, they organized a trip to the local stadium. It was amazing.
Wow! Did you get to meet any of the players?
Well, we managed to watch the team train, and later I got a really great photo of me with the team captain because my host father knew the players would usually hang out at a nearby restaurant after training. So we tried our luck, and I couldn't believe it when I saw the team walking in. They were happy for me to take a few shots with them.
So, did you stay in Rome for the whole trip then?
No, the school I was placed in organized a trip to Milan as well. It was there that I discovered what real pizza actually tasted like. It's better than anything you'll ever get back home in Malaysia. We went on a walk in the countryside one afternoon too. It was so green and beautiful, and the weather was fantastic. We didn't have much time to go sightseeing though, unfortunately.
Was the school trip to Milan organized in the same way as school trips are here in Malaysia?
Yes, except the organizer had one rule we all had to follow. We were not allowed to use our digital devices, so I had to leave my phone off the whole time. I was quite annoyed about this, but they did allow us to take a camera at least. I was able to get some really lovely pictures.
Sounds like it was quite strict. Did you get any nice souvenirs while you were there?
Well, we didn't have much time in Milan, but I did get a couple of things. I got a really beautiful silk scarf in a street market. That was for my mother. I also got a designer shirt for my father. He never buys any new clothes.
Sounds nice. Was school life very different from here in Malaysia then?
Well, the first thing that struck me was that the students have a very different method of learning. It was quite informal in some ways, especially when compared to some Malaysian schools. I'm not sure which one is better though.
What do you think you learned from this student exchange program?
I think I developed a lot as a person. I don't think it helped me in my studies, but it was useful to learn another language. I think the biggest thing I took from the experience was that it has made me rethink my goals in life. For example, am I sure I want to go to this university or that one? What do I really want to do next with my life?
Would you visit Italy again?
Of course, but for now, I'm looking forward to my host family's visit. It'll be my turn to show them around Malaysia. That's happening in September, when we all have enough free time. I've kept in touch with them since arriving back last April. They had planned to visit earlier in the year, but I was really busy in August.
Okay, I think you have some idea regarding the quality of the audio, the whole listening test in general. And do you have any questions for me regarding all the four papers? I'll be sharing with Encik Daud some question on writing so that you can do some exercises on writing. I have selected a question that I like from the trial papers in the country. Eh? So, do you have any question for me, or else we can call it the day for today? Eh? Uh, I'm sorry for all the uh, disruption caused by the internet line, but somehow it has been quite smooth sailing for the last 1 hour and a half. Okay, any other question, please? No question. You are all well ready for the SPM. Uh, so hopefully all of you will score your A plus. For the listening test, are we going in groups or students at the same time? Or you'll be all put in one hall and they will play you the audio at the same time. Same time, same time. There shouldn't be any small group. If there are many students, they will have two centers. So your JPN. So if you are in Selangor, JPN Selangor will decide for you people where you get where you sit for your listening test. Okay. Any other question? Will there also be associated okay interlocutor? Okay, now I'm not so sure about your Permata Pinta institution if the JPN of your state do not ask Permata Pinta for any interlocutor or assessor. That means you'll be having some other teachers as the interlocutor and as the assessor. So my worry is the interlocutor because I hope you know you will be at ease with the interlocutor. You are familiar with the interlocutor speech pattern, pronunciation. Then it will be quite uh, a comfortable uh, exam. We do not want you to be stressed for the speaking test, which I think this year a lot of students will experience the anxiety and high stress level for sitting for the speaking test. I hope all of you will be confident to speak. More one way to look at it, to look at the speaking test is, you know, just think that you're going for an audition. Just act. Don't worry about what the other person think because he or she will be only be listening to you once. That's all. Okay. Any other question? Uh, uh, did you people have your trial? Who marked your paper? Can somebody share with me some of your essays and to see whether you are given the right feedback for your effort. Uh, But if you are all good students, you can write well, grammatically correct, you understand the task, you use different type of sentence structure, simple, compound, and complex structure. Plus, you use cohesive devices. I'm not worried. If you don't, then I worry. Uh, okay, I think there's no more question. Eh? Uh, my number is still the same. If you need to contact me or you want to share your essays with me, that's my number. Give me some time to mark your paper, and then I'll get back to you, inshallah. So thank you very much for the session. Hopefully we'll see each other again. Uh, we do not have much time, especially for the speaking and listening test, but we have about 2 months for reading and writing. So with that, thank you very much to all of you. I hope to see you some other time in the future. Okay. So we'll stop now. Okay, thank you, and thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye for now.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Waalaikumsalam,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.